Let's go over some of the basic defensive motions as counters to your basic punches. For your jab, what I'd like you to do is work on the pick first. As she jabs, my hand is going to come straight out and then right back to my chin. A pick is different than a parry. Often many people try to work on parrying first, and it's not something I agree with. Parrying is something you should do later on down the road. What happens when you start off with parrying is you tend to move the hand from left to right, and the fighter sees you doing that, so they fake, and now your hand is gone and you get hit in the face. Much better for you to start by picking. Your hand is just going to move out in front of you about 6 to 8 inches and then right back. If you think of your shoulders as the base of a pyramid and the apex in front of you, your hand is going to move to that point and then back. So as she jabs, I pick. Now let's work on some of the covers that we use. This is a kind of a complex motion. I'll break it down into several parts. For the right hand, when she throws the right hand, I'm going to bring my left hand to my forehead, so the foreknuckles, the pad of the foreknuckles are actually resting on my forehead. And then my elbow is going to be maintained tight to my body. And I'm going to slightly turn inward towards center line. So as she throws the right hand, I turn this way. I'll leave my other hand down so you can see it clearly. Turn and turn. And notice I keep myself rooted. It's very important that you keep your stance firm so you don't get knocked out of balance. That's going to make it much harder for you to come back with your shots. So again, she throws her right hand and I turn. Now, if one of the nice things about this is if her right hand is slightly looping, this is take care of it, no problem. Slightly loops, and I'm still covered. If her right hand is really straight, then often I'll just pick it by turning, and it just be pushed out to the side and in front of me. Okay, so either way, I'm covered. If we try to teach parrying right away, it's something I don't like to do because, again, people tend to reach with their hand, which is something you don't want. If you're going to parry, that hand is going to be really small. But the cover is much better. Much better in the beginning. Okay, now the cover for the hook is going to be essentially the same thing. Again, we have the elbow tight to the body and the foreknuckles on the forehead. Now I'm also flexing my wrist slightly. It's very important. My hand is not straight like this. I'm actually flexing it this way. That way, when a punch hits, if it actually hits on the upper portion of your glove, it will slide up and over your head, which is going to give you a nice opening. And it keeps the wrist from jamming into your head. If you keep the wrist flat like this, when they hit, the palm heel of your hand actually drives into your head. So we're flexing that outward just slightly. So again, elbow is tight, foreknuckle on, and then I cover. One more. Now the actual body position that I use is really going to depend on what I want to follow up with. If my intention is to follow up with the left, I'm going to take my cover and I'm going to turn my forearm into center line slightly. So I'm going to turn my forearm this way. That loads my left hand so that I can throw my hook. So again, as she hooks, that loads my left hand. Now, if I want to follow up with my right hand, then I'm just going to sink. I'm going to sink my weight into my right foot as I cover, and I don't pivot as much. So as she throws, I just sink. Now I'm in my basic position, and I can throw my right hand as a counter. So again, sink, and hit. Now, when we hit to the body, if she tries to attempt to hit to the body, I need to cover that area, but I don't want to leave my head open. So if I just bring my hand down like this, it's no good because as soon as they see that, then they start to fire on the upper line. So we want to make this kind of this crunchy motion. You're going to take your shoulder, you're going to tilt it towards your hip this way. And that will help your elbow cover that whole range of distance. And at the same time, you're going to weight your leg. So as she hits, this way. And it's the same on the other side. You can't see it, but it's the same shot. Let's look at something that I see that's very common in martial arts circles to do, and it's something that needs to be considered when you're blocking the hook. When she throws the hook, it's very common to see people do this type of block. Here. Now, that's okay. That actually comes from Thai boxing, and there's nothing wrong with that block. But you need to be careful about in what range you apply that block. If you're doing it out at this range and the person sees you doing that type of thing, then it's going to be much more difficult for you to get that elbow down and actually block the body. So again, you do here, and they're going to go to the body the next time. Okay? So we want to cover it by covering the whole side rather than bringing the elbow up. Now, if you're in tight in this range and she throws that shot, now I can actually cover by hitting with the elbow, and that's more in the realm of Muay Thai, and that's an excellent thing to do. But just be careful about doing it out at long range.
Here we see the basic defensive motions used in combination. Keep your movements small and tight. Move as little as possible while still accomplishing the goal of blocking or deflecting the incoming punches.